Hey guys, what's up? It's that time again, it's arcade time. Today we're going to play a very special game. Very special indeed. This is Final Fight. Now this must be one of the most recognisable arcade games of all time. Probably my favourite arcade game, maybe. Maybe this or Street Fighter 2. And this is a monumental game. Now, it's about a couple of guys who try to rescue this guy, Mr. Hager's daughter. Not so fast, Mike, just turn on your TV. Just listen to reason, man. Capcom, awesome company, Capcom games. I might play this all the way through if I enjoy it. I'll start with 9 continues and see how far we get. Or you can be Guy, Cody or Hager. I normally play Cody. See the sign there, danger. I love the artwork here. This is like the perfect arcade game. Graphics are great and still hold up now. They've got like a quintessential style in them. You've got 2 buttons, jump and attack. And that's all you need really. It's just the perfect stress relief. Just beating up on these guys, everything's really smooth. You can throw them. You can fly inside kick. These fat guys, G-Orbiter, Billboard. Oh, that move there that I just did, you press jump and attack to do that, but it takes off some of your energy when you do it, so you're only supposed to do it when you get in crisis. There's the chicken for health and the knife. The knives are pretty powerful in this. This is just full damned. I don't know if he was the guy on the TV screen or what. He's quite easy really, but he jumps back and whistles though. Whistles for his friends. Just got an extra life there. You get a certain amount of points at the beginning and it gives you an extra life. I used to play this game in a youth club when I was about, I must have been about 10 years old, maybe younger than that. And the youth club was like, it wasn't really set up for profit, you know, so the people who ran it were like really cool and down to earth, and they had an arcade machine in there, and it was Final Fight, and everyone used to love this arcade, you know what I mean? They'd be on it for hours and hours, but the best thing about it was because it was a youth club and it was all subsidised. The guys who ran it actually opened up the door where you get the coins back. So if you had 1 10p, you could just keep putting it into the coin slot and get more and more credits, and you could just pick it up back out of the coin drawer. So I used to just have hours and hours of fun on this at my local youth club. Music's excellent on this game, not quite as good as Yuzo Koshiro's Streets of Rage soundtrack, I don't think, but it's still great music. Look at these dilapidated subway trains. I think that in time to come, these games will be considered quite culturally significant because they kind of represent an era of Western decline in the late 70s, early 80s and later. This is a kind of Japanese reimagining of the decline in New York, or perhaps Los Angeles, judging by the map. And that was a decline that certainly went on at that time. You did have in those cities, particularly, a lot of these stereotypical people. There was a lot of crime, there was a lot of dilapidation. I mean, New York particularly, it was like a war zone in the 80s. It was burning every night. You had the Bronx, was just looked like some kind of maybe like Bosnia or something, you know. It was just rubble, people hanging around in the rubble, and at night the gangs would take over the streets, and this must have seemed crazy to Japanese eyes, but because Japan at that time was its rise, you see, it was at like its height, because Japan had an economic boom in the 80s. Now Japan itself's in decline. And you see it in Streets of Rage as well, that particular styling of street monks, urban decay, and it has a certain charm to it. And life was pretty grimy in those days, even in England where I was. But much less so than America. But that decline seems to have spread out since those times to engulf many other Western cities. And there was much discussion about it, and video games in a sense were part of that decline, because there was a lot of discussion in the media, what do video games say about our values in the West now, about the changing world. And there was a certain amount of truth to it, because if you've got a generation of kids that grow up playing these kind of games and they think that this is a cool game, what does that say about your society? it say about oh, this fool pretends to be knocked out, and he runs for you. I used to hate this Sodom guy when I was in the arcade. But yeah, I think there's a certain amount of significance to it. I was in London a couple of years ago, and I was outside of a hotel smoking a cigarette, because you're not allowed to smoke in the hotels anymore. And there was a drunken guy came over and he said, "Oh, welcome to London, what a shithole." And he said, "Look around you," he said, "it's just like Streets of Rage, isn't it?" And I looked up and down the street, and there was like a gang on one corner, a gang on the other. There was a transvestite walking down the street trying to attack a guy with a handbag. There was some guy who looked like he was just insane, you know, talking to himself, shouting to himself in the street. A lot of the buildings, the facades were looking bad, they were decrepit, in decay. There was like neon lights blinking, you know, like prostitutes walking around. It was all very seedy, and I thought to myself, I think he's right there. There is a certain stereotypical significance now, and then, but more so now, perhaps in certain ways. I think the decline has gotten worse in our major cities. What do you think? Do you think I'm reading too much into it, or do you think there is a case for that? Either way, the style's certainly very recognisable and quite attractive in certain ways. We tend to find urban decay attractive in art, but not so much to live in it, you know. It has a certain dark allure, like the kind of allure that you get when you see pictures of Pripyat in the Chernobyl exclusion zone, and you're kind of like strangely attracted towards it. I mean, Streets of Rage, we've got to be, I love Streets of Rage, you know, but I've got to be honest, that it's a total rip-off of this game in almost every respect. I mean, this guy Cody just looks exactly like Axel. There's this bar parties in Streets of Rage, then there's the lift part later, there's the beach part, or the Bayside. I hate these Andor guys. It's like a little cheap move. Oh, this is where I get kidnapped and taken to a wrestling ring, of all things. Right, two Andors, Andor Senior and Andor Junior. This a lot of these characters appear later on in the other games, because this was actually made by the same guy that made Street Fighter 2, or some of the same people that made Street Fighter 2, and some of them appear in some of the later Street Fighter games. Good old samurai sword, suck on the handle. There's poison there. When this came out in America, they didn't like the idea of guys beating up on chicks. They thought it was wrong. So the guy who created this said that, well, Poison's actually a transvestite. And I gotta tell you, I'm not that way inclined, but Poison is looking damn fine for a transvestite. If she is, I might actually consider it. I don't get why he drops that gum and then you eat it. Big Eddie, he's like the corrupt New York cop, I guess. Yeah, this game, it still holds up today. It holds some very fond memories for me. Capcom are absolutely amazing, I think, in terms of arcade games. I know they've released a few turkeys over the years, but generally I'm a Capcom kid. I like Capcom. I think the quality's always there. And this game still feels great to play now. It still looks great. I love the little map of the city. I don't like this industrial area. I hate these fire things. But what's good about the fire things is it burns the enemies as well. This was a bit where like they wanted you either to put more credits in or get off the machine quite clearly, because these fight things take off like full life almost. I've heard that Capcom have released this on some kind of online play thing in like a souped up, improved graphics HD type version. And I don't know if it's for PS3 or Xbox or something like that. But I would suggest that you pay that a visit, find out about it, and give it a try, because I bet it's really good. And support Capcom in what they do, because I think they've really, without hero worshipping them too much, I think that they've had significant influence on the evolution of gaming and deserve a lot of respect for that.